Wake up in the grind, clock ticking, 20 minutes flat, freedom main-handed, knives built where the real ones at.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 20-Minute Freedom Project. I am your host, Josh, and today's episode is Goals versus Identity. How many times have you set a goal, felt fired up for a week, maybe two, and then you quietly drift back into the same habits, routines, the same life? Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because the version of you that set that goal was not the version of you that was required to keep it. This is the conversation that nobody really wants to address, especially right now, in that weird space between the holidays and the new year. Because this goes deeper than resolutions, deeper than plans, deeper than vision boards. This is about your identity. And if you miss this part, nothing else is going to stick. Every year around this time, I see the same pattern. People reflect, people promise, people swear this year is going to be different. But belief without identity is fragile, because most goals don't fail explosively. They don't crash and burn like that action movie crash scene. They fade. The workouts get skipped. The business ideas, they stay ideas. The early mornings turn back into snooze buttons and just 5 more minutes. The discipline you swore you were going to have disappears under stress, comfort, and distraction. And then people say things like, I guess I didn't want it bad enough. I need more motivation. I'll lock in January 1st. Or maybe I'll get back on it on Monday. Motivation isn't the problem. Planning isn't the problem. The problem is that you tried to stack a new goal on top of an old identity that is not aligned. And your identity is always going to win. There was a season in my life where I was setting goals consistently. I had the vision boards, I had the business goals, I had the fitness goals, I had the income goals, my personal growth goals. On paper, it looked good. I had the lists, I had it all planned out. Quotes that I was going to look at to give me the motivation on my phone. I had podcasts playing nonstop, thinking that would help. Yet behind the scenes, I was completely inconsistent. I'd have a strong week, then I'd have a soft week. Then I'd start negotiating with myself. I'll double up tomorrow. Or I deserve a break. Maybe I'm overtraining. I'll get back on track Monday. And the scary part was the fact that I still thought I was being disciplined. I wanted the results of a disciplined man without fully becoming one. I wanted the confidence of a leader without owning leadership when it was uncomfortable, when it was not easy, and when distractions came up. I wanted freedom without daily identity behaviors that would create it. The gap between the goals I had set and my identity, that was the problem. And that's where most people live their entire lives. Your goals are external targets. Your identity is an internal standard operating procedure by which you live your life by. Goals tell you where you want to go. Identity determines whether you're actually going to take the steps to get there. This is why two people can have the same goal and get completely different outcomes. You can be in the same gym, the same program, same opportunity, same business. One follows through and the other one fades out. Not because one is smarter or better skilled or has more talent, but because one has the identity that supports the behavior. Most goals fail for 3 reasons. Number 1, they're outcome obsessed. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to make 6 figures. I want to do this in my business. I want to be more present. Outcomes can motivate you at first, but they don't help you on the days where your motivation completely disappears. The second is they rely on future discipline. Most goals that you set assume that in the future, you will be more disciplined than you currently are. And that is where we're lying to ourselves. The future you is just the current you under more pressure, wanting more things and expecting things are just going to change. Third, and this is the big one, they ignore the identity conflict. If your goals require you to become someone you don't see yourself as, your subconscious will continuously fight it because it does not see you as that. And it's not a weakness, but it's your identity short-circuiting your goals before you even get close to them. This isn't just a motivational talk. Psychologist Daryl Beam introduced the self-perception theory, which says that we form beliefs about ourselves based on our actions. In simple terms, you become what you repeatedly do. So the more times you do something, it becomes a habit for you and becomes your identity. James Clear puts it perfectly in Atomic Habits. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Not one big action, not a perfect day, but repeated actions over time. Studies show that habits tied to identity last significantly longer than habits tied to outcomes or rewards. Because quitting a goal feels like you're a failure. Quitting an identity feels like you're completely betraying yourself. When your identity shifts, goals stop feeling so heavy, so out there, so hard to reach. A disciplined person doesn't argue with the alarm clock. A builder doesn't wait for inspiration. A leader doesn't avoid hard conversations, not because it's easy, but because it's aligned. I think Andy Frisella said it best. Winning isn't an event, it's a standard, and standards are identity-based. So let's talk about the gap between who you are now and who your goals that you've set or you want to set require you to be. Most people live in that little gap forever. They want freedom, but still identity of a comfort seeker. They want leadership, but still identify as approval seekers. They want a disciplined life, but still identify as negotiators. That identity conflict creates friction. And friction is what kills your ability to reach your goals. Now let's get tactical. This is how identity actually changes. First, you have micro identity shifts. You don't overhaul your identity overnight. You shift it one vote at a time. Instead of saying, I'm trying to get in shape, say, I'm somebody who works out or somebody who is working on their health. I'm trying to get focused. Instead of that, say, I'm someone who finishes what I start. Language matters because it reinforces belief. Ask yourself, who must I become for my goals to be inevitable? Not someday, but today, to become an actual reality. There's a quote by Albert Einstein. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. We have to shift our identity to become the person we need to reach our goals. Number 2, habit anchors. Your identity sticks when it's anchored to a habit. You don't need 10 habits. You need 1 or 2 non-negotiables, which you build on over time. Because once something becomes a habit, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's kind of like driving a car. When you first started driving, everything was coming at you at once. You had to check your mirrors. You had to pay attention to other people while on the road. You had to make sure you used your blinkers. You had to learn how much pressure you needed on the gas pedal, how much you needed on the brakes, how much distance you needed between the cars. Over time, you got more and more comfortable with it, and you stopped thinking about it. It just became second nature to you. It was a habit. You had a habit of driving. It is the same thing. You can think about it. There are plenty of people, maybe not well, but they can drive and they can eat, they can mess with the radio, they can have a conversation. In the beginning, it was very hard to do multiple things at once, but once you got that habit down, it became like on autopilot. You could drive, have a conversation, you can eat food, you can take a drink, you can change the radio, you can add things on. If your identity is disciplined, maybe it's waking up at the same time every day. If your identity is a builder, maybe it's daily creation blocks. Habits are evidence. Evidence builds belief, and belief reinforces your identity. Number 3 is behavior triggers. Early identity shifts are very fragile, so stop relying on willpower. Design your environment around what you want to happen. You want to go to the gym more. You're gonna lay out your gym clothes. You want to have a better schedule. You're gonna calendar block out your entire life. And maybe you want to sleep better, get to bed earlier, spend more time with your partner. The phone gets moved out of the room. As James Clear and Alex Hormozy say, discipline is easier when the right action is the default. This time of year exposes your true identity. Most people mentally shut down right now. They coast, they wait. But identity is built in quiet moments when no one is watching. The person you are in this gap determines whether next year is going to be different or just another year of the same old thing. You don't need a new year. You need a new standard, and you can reset that at any time. And there's nothing like the present to actually reset that standard. So I have the Freedom Challenge for you. It's not a resolution, not a list, not something that sounds impressive. One identity, one ritual, 7 days. First, choose the identity you are committing to. Not who you want to be someday, who you are deciding to be this week. I am disciplined. I'm a builder. I'm the example. I'm a leader. I'm a health-oriented person. I am someone who finishes what they start. And you're going to pick one. And then you're going to design the smallest daily ritual that proves it. You're not going to have a perfect version, the undeniable version. If you're disciplined, maybe you wake up at the same time every day. No matter what, no snooze button. The alarm goes off, you get out of bed. If you're a builder, maybe it's 20 minutes of creation, no consumption. If you're a leader, maybe it's something uncomfortable, like a conversation you've been avoiding. If you're someone who finishes, maybe it's completing one open loop every day. Here's the rule. You do it every day for those 7 days. No negotiation, no doubling up, no making up for missed days. If you miss a day, you start over. Because this is not about intensity. It's about self-trust. And at the end of the week, don't ask, did I get results? Ask, do I believe in myself more than I did 7 days ago? That's how identity becomes real. And if this episode made you think, brought something to your awareness, or gave you a whole new perspective, share it out with someone who needs it. And remember that freedom isn't found, it's built. One decision, one action, one step, one day at a time. Don't wait for the motivation. Don't wait for permission. Do the work and do it today. And I will catch you guys on the next